A shroud of mystery often surrounds the underworld of crime, but what happens when that shroud is lifted to reveal an even more enigmatic figure? A woman at the helm. The dawn of dangerous women began centuries ago, long before the term girl gang was ever coined. Our journey takes us back to the cobblestone streets of London, where the 40 Elephants, an all-female gang, held sway from the late 18th century to the early 20th. They were not your run-of-the-mill thieves, they were organized, methodical, and ruthless. Their operations were spearheaded by the notorious Diamond Annie, a woman as hard as the gem she was named after. Known for her diamond rings, she used them not just for adornment, but for delivering punches that left her victims reeling. The 40 Elephants, with their diamond-clad fists, paved the way for more female gangs to emerge, each more dangerous than the last. As time moved on, so did the world of crime, with the 20th century seeing the rise of the powerful and ruthless queens of crime. These women weren't the sidekicks or the damsels in distress, they were the masterminds, the leaders, the ones who called the shots. Let's journey back to the 1930s to the bustling city of Shanghai, where one woman ruled the roost. Her name was Du Yuisheng, and she was no ordinary queen. This was a queen of crime, a woman who commanded respect and fear in equal measure. Under Du Yuisheng's leadership, the queens of crime ran an empire built on vice. They dealt in opium, turning the city's addiction into their profit. They ran gambling houses where fortunes were lost and won in the blink of an eye, and they managed prostitution rings exploiting the desperate and the vulnerable. But these women weren't just ruthless, they were cunning. They navigated the dangerous waters of the criminal underworld with charm and wit. They used their femininity as a weapon, seducing, deceiving, and outsmarting their adversaries. They were not just surviving in a man's world, they were thriving. The queens of crime didn't just participate in the world of crime, they dominated it, they shaped it, they ruled it. They were proof that in this world anyone, regardless of gender, could rise to the top. The queens of crime proved that women were not just capable of participating in the world of crime, but they could rule it. In the post-war era, a new breed of female gang emerged, as deadly as they were elusive. Enter the deadly dames of the 1950s, a name that would send shivers down the spines of even the most hardened criminals. This American gang was not to be trifled with, known for their violent robberies and illicit drug trade. They didn't just dabble in crime, they made it an art form, one that was as ruthless as it was terrifying. The deadly dames were a force to be reckoned with. Each member was as lethal as the next, armed with a cold-blooded determination that left their adversaries trembling in their boots. The dames were not just thieves, they were master manipulators, using their charm and wits to get what they wanted. And if that didn't work, well, they weren't afraid to get their hands dirty. Their ruthless tactics were the stuff of nightmares. They would stop at nothing to achieve their goals, whether it was a high-stakes robbery or a daring drug deal. They were fearless, cunning, and above all, deadly. The fear they instilled in their adversaries wasn't just about physical harm, it was psychological too. This was a gang that could outsmart you, outmaneuver you, and if need be, outgun you. The Deadly Dames marked a turning point in the history of female gangs, showing that women could be just as brutal, if not more so, than their male counterparts. As the 21st century dawned, so too did a new era of female gangs, led by the formidable Madams of Mayhem. This modern-day gang, operating in the icy expanses of Russia, has a chilling reputation that sends shivers down the spine of even the hardest criminals. The Madams of Mayhem are not your average criminals. They command an empire built on the shadows of human trafficking, an industry that preys on the vulnerable and the desperate. Their methods are brutal, calculated, and designed to instill terror in the hearts of those who dare cross their path. From the depths of Moscow's underworld, they orchestrate an intricate web of illicit activities, maintaining control with an iron fist. They employ psychological manipulation, physical force, and an unyielding grip on their victims. These women are not just ruthless, they're methodical, turning crime into a chilling art form. The Madams of Mayhem, with their icy glares and hearts colder than the Siberian winter, defy the stereotype of the timid, subservient woman. They have clawed their way to the top of a male-dominated underworld, proving that women can be just as ruthless, just as cunning, and just as deadly. In the face of the Madams of Mayhem, one thing becomes clear: the world of crime is no longer a man's world. As we delve deeper into the 21st century, the face of female-led crime continues to evolve, with new gangs emerging from the shadows. These are not your typical damsels in distress. but formidable leaders commanding respect and fear in equal measure. In the murky depths of the underworld, a shift in dynamics is palpable. The criminal landscape that was once dominated by men is witnessing a rise in the number of women in leadership roles. From drug cartels to cybercrime syndicates, women are no longer confined to the sidelines. They are stepping into the spotlight, taking the reins, and rewriting the rules of the game. This trend is fueled in part by societal changes and the shifting perceptions of women in power. But let's not forget the role of technology. As the digital age progresses, new avenues for crime are continually being carved out. Cybercrime in particular knows no gender boundaries, offering a level playing field for those who dare to venture into its realm. The future of female-led gangs, therefore, looks set to be as diverse as it is unpredictable. From the slums of the world's most impoverished cities to the glimmering skyscrapers of its financial capitals, these women are leaving their indelible mark on the criminal underworld. As we stand on the precipice of this new era, one thing is clear: underestimate the power of these dangerous women at your own peril.